Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel MK's Tech Talks. So in this YouTube channel, you can find one playlist with the name DevOps Training Series Zero to Hero. So in this playlist, uh, I up, I uploaded all the Linux related topics like Linux, Git, Jenkins, Docker, Kubernetes, Ansible, Terraform, and AWS Cloud. So these topics I uploaded from basic to advanced concepts with real-time scenarios. So just to follow this playlist. So even if you don't have any prior knowledge on DevOps, so you can master the DevOps in 2 months. Just you have to follow regularly for 2 months. In 2 months, you can master the DevOps. So this is very good opportunity. So please like, share, and subscribe my YouTube channel MK's Tech Talks. Thank you. So let's log in as root. Check this. So check the version of the Git. We are working on Git, right? So we have Git version. So Git installed in our version. Now what we have to do is so Git is available and we have to follow this process. Okay. So what we have to do is so we have to create the working directory. Okay. So once working directory is available, now we can do the code changes in the working directory and we can move the changes to the staging area and then the local repository. Okay, so these things we can. Okay, so now how to create the working directory? So to create the working directory, so we need one new folder. Okay, we need one new folder. So first of all, create the folder. So git DevOps one folder I am creating. So mkdir, right? Now check the list. So we have DevOps1 directory. Now go to the DevOps1 directory and check ls. Nothing is there. We don't have any files here. Okay. So so next what we have to do is once we have new folder created, we have to initialize the git. Okay. Then only this new folder will become the working directory. So try to initialize the git. So to initialize the git, the command is git init. So git init is the command we have to use. So git init. So try to initialize the git here. Now you see, so initialized empty git repository under slash root slash DevOps1 slash dot git means, so in our current directory where we are now, so we are under slash root slash DevOps1 under this directory. So if you see here, so if you see ls, so nothing is there. Okay. So if you want to know the hidden files, so you can use ls-la command. ls hyphen la. What this command will do is, so it will show hidden files. Show hidden files. If we have any hidden files, right? So that hidden files, it will show hidden files are directories. Okay. So now check whether we have any hidden files or directories. So ls hyphen la. You see, we have one .git folder. D represent it is a directory. Okay. So .git folder is there. So earlier it is not there. So before initializing it, this was not there. Okay. So now after initializing it, we got this .git folder. Okay. So whenever we saw this .git folder, what it means is the given directory is under git monitor. Okay. So this directory will be monitored by the git. What is the meaning of monitored by the git? So in this directory, if we do any changes, every change will be monitored by the git. Okay. So that is the meaning of .git folder here. So whenever we got .git folder, it means so our directory will be under git monitor. Now this directory becomes working directory. So now what is our working directory? So our working directory is /root/devops1. So this is the working directory. So we created working directory now. Okay, we created working directory. And now, so to check whether we have any changes in the working directory, so we can use git status command. Git status. So what this command will do is, so this command will show whether we have any changes in the working directory. So it will show changes in working directory. Okay. So it will show uncommitted changes. Uncommitted. Uncommitted changes in the working directory. Okay. So try to check. Try to check this git status. Git status. So you see, now it is showing nothing to commit. Nothing to commit means we don't have any changes in the working directory to commit to the local repository. Okay, where we are going to commit? Always we are going to commit to the local repository. Okay, so that is the meaning of this message, nothing to commit. Okay, and no commit set. This means still we didn't do any changes in the working directory. So DevOps one is the working directory now, right? So in this DevOps one directory, nothing is there. We don't have anything. Nothing is there. Okay, so that is the meaning here. Okay. Now what we have to do is we have to move the changes. If we have any changes, we can move the changes to the staging area, but we don't have any files, any changes in our DevOps one directory. Okay. So changes means if we create any file, if we delete any file, if we modify any file, any action. Okay. If we perform any action, that particular action we are calling as the changes in the folder. Okay. So now try to do some changes in the folder. So I'm trying to create one folder, that is a one file. So test1 file I'm trying to create. Okay. And similarly, test2 file, two files I'm trying to create. And earlier, when we check git ls, git status, this is the message we are getting. So this is very important. Okay. So the git status, what is the message we are getting? Nothing to commit. Now after getting this message, we are trying to do some changes in the working directory. What changes we are doing? Just we are creating some files, test1, test2 empty files I'm creating. Okay. So earlier we don't have anything here. Okay, nothing is there. When we check ls, nothing is there. Okay. So check this one. Now I created some files. I can check ls. So I have some files here. Test1, test2 files. Just now I created. Okay. Now we'll check the status, git status. So you see, earlier we got nothing to commit status, but this time as we created some files in our working directory, so there is a change in the status. What is the status we are getting? So untracked files. nothing added to the commit. Okay, so untracked files. Whenever you see this message, so this particular message represent untracked files represent. Okay, so there are changes in the working directory. Okay, there are changes in working directory which are not committed. Okay, which are not committed. That is the meaning of this message. Okay, so it represent. Okay, so there are changes in working directory which are not committed. Okay, so now what we have to do here? So what we have to do? What are the changes? It is showing here. So test one, test two. So whenever the changes are there in the red color, it represent. This is another notation that the changes are there in the working directory. What changes we have? So we have test one, test two changes in the working directory. Okay, test one, test two are the changes we have in the working directory. So these changes still not moved to the next stage. So what is the next stage in our Git flow? What is the next stage? So if you see here, so we have so what is the next stage in our Git flow? We are in the working directory. Okay, so next stage will be we are in working directory. What is the next stage here? So we already discussed it, right? So we'll have different stages in the local. This is the local, right? So working directory and staging area. Okay, and local repo. So these are the different stages we have. Okay, these are the different stages we have. So at present, we are in the working directory. What is our working directory? So DevOps one is the working directory. Okay, so in this DevOps one working directory, we created test one, test two files. We created a test one, test two files. Okay, so means we did some changes in the working directory. Okay, so these changes we have to move to next stage. We have to move these changes to the next stage. So here, yes, Akash, you are saying something. Okay, so the changes for working directory, we have to move to the staging area. Okay, so to move the changes from working directory to staging area, what is the command we are going to use? We already discussed it, right? Here we can use git add command. Okay, so now, so here before, so we can use a git add file name. So this is the command we have to use to move changes from working directory to staging area. So next stage is staging area. Okay. So we have uncommitted changes. These changes we have to move to the staging area. To move the changes to the staging area, we can use git add command. Okay. So we have to use git add command here. Okay. So once we use git add command, our changes from working directory will be moved to the staging area. Okay. So now, so after the staging area, what we have to do? Again, we have to move to the local repository. So our aim here is whatever the changes we are doing in the working directory, these changes always we have to move to the local repository, then only we'll get clean status. Okay, so then only we'll get clean status. Otherwise, if we have any changes which are not committed to the local repository, so then we are not going to get the clean status. Okay, so that is the reason here. When we check the status, it is showing it is not, we are not getting the clean status. But in the earlier case, right, here you see we got the clean status. There is no errors. There is no error. Yeah, in this case, there is no error. So after that, we did some changes. As we did some changes, we are not getting the clean status. So always what we have to do is we have to get the clean status. Okay. So again, check the git status. So this is the status we have. And so how can you know whether these files are there in the local repository or not? So here, what is our ultimate goal? We have to move the changes from working directory to the local repository finally. Okay. So how can you know whether we have changes in the local repository or not? So to check the files, what are the files we have in the local repository? So we can use a git ls files command. Okay, so by using git ls files command, we can check what are the files we have in the local repository. Okay, so here check ls. So what this ls will do, so we already know, right? So ls command, it will show files in working directory. Okay, in the current working directory, what are the files we have, that files it will show. Similarly, if we want to know the files in the local repository, okay, so here in the working directory, to know the files, we can use ls command. Similarly, if we want to know the files in the local repository, so we can use git ls files, git hyphen ls files, git ls hyphen files. Git ls files. What this command will do? So it will show files from local repo. In the local repo, what are the files we have? That files it will show. Okay. So now check the files in the local repo. In our case, git ls hyphen files. You see, nothing is there. Nothing is there because just we created these files in the working directory. Okay, so we created two files in the working directory. So test1 file. Okay, so test2 file we created in the working directory. Still we didn't move these files to the staging area and then to the local repository. Okay, so to reflect these files in the local repository, we have to use git add command, and we have to use git commit command. Okay, we have to use git commit command. So after that only, from the working directory, these files will be moved to the local repository. Okay, so we'll check this one. Now, to move the changes from working directory to the staging area, so we can use git add command. Git add is the command we have to use. Okay, so check this one. So try to use git add. So we have two files, right? So I can use. So what is the file name? Test one. First of all, I am doing the test one only. Okay. Git add test one. Just a file name we have to give. Okay. So check this one. So means we moved test one file, okay, from the working directory to staging area. Similarly, move test2 file also, git add test2. Okay, we move test2 also from the working directory to the staging area. Now check the status. Now check the status, git status. You see, so earlier, what is the status we got? Untracked files. Now, what is the status we are getting? Changes to be committed. Okay. So this is the message we got after using git add command. So we got the message as changes to be committed. So what it represent? What it represent? So this represent, okay. So it represent there are changes in staging area. Okay, so that is what we did here, right? So earlier test1, test2 files are there in the working directory. Here we use the git add command. Okay, as we use the git add command, so this test1, test2 files got moved to staging area. Okay, so test1, test2 files got moved to staging area. Okay, so now these files are there in the staging area. Okay, so from the staging area, again, we have to move to the local repository. So to move the changes to the local repository, so what is the command we can use? To move the changes from staging area to the local repository, we can use git commit -m some message we can give, random message. You can give any message here. Okay, so this is the syntax to move the changes from the staging area to the local repository. So what this will do? So to move to move changes from staging area to local repo. To move the changes from staging area to the local repo. So we can use git commit command. Okay. So now check this. And one more thing here is, so earlier when the changes are there in the working directory, we can see the file color is red color. So when we moved changes to the staging area, so you can see file colors are the new color, and that is a green color. Okay, so green color. So green color represent changes are there in the staging area. This is another notation. Okay, simply by seeing the color of the file, we can see in which location our files are there, whether it is the changes are there in the working directory or changes are there in the staging area. Okay, so the green color represent files are there in the staging area. Okay, so this staging area we cannot see directly. This is logically available. We already discussed it, right? The staging area and local repo we cannot see physically. Okay, so this is a working directory. We can see that working directory. Demos one is the working directory. We can see working directory. We can access the working directory. We can work on the working directory. But staging area we cannot see directly. Okay, staging area we cannot see directly. It will be available logically only. Okay, so this is how we can see whether we have any files in the staging area. Okay, now we have changes in the staging area. So these changes we have to move to the local repository. Okay, so now at present this is the status we have. Git status is changes to be committed. What changes we have to commit? We have test1, test2 new files. Okay, test1, test2 new files means these files still not committed. What this new file represent? These files are still not committed to the local repository. Okay, so now try to commit the changes. So git commit -m. I'm giving some message. My first commit. Okay, so my first commit. So check this one. Now you see two files changed. Create mode means two files got created in the local repository. What are the two files? Test1, test2. These two files got moved to the local repository. Okay, so check ls. ls shows files in the working directory. Similarly, check files in the local repository by using git ls files. Git ls files is the command which will show local repository files. Now you see both are in sync. Working directory files and local repo files both are in sync. Okay, so whenever both working directory and local repository files are in sync, then we will get the clean status. Now check the status. Check the status. So you see nothing to commit, working clean. Whenever we got this status, it represent what are the changes we have in the working directory. These changes got moved to the local repository, and working directory, local repository both are in sync. That is the meaning here. Okay. So what we did now? So we committed changes from the staging area to the local repository. Now this test one. Okay, so test2 files are there in the local repository. These files are there in the local repository. Okay, so this is how we have to follow. Okay,